definitely hone in our live shows now, figure out what's good on the album, get the album, set up a European tour once Europe is more open.
I mean, at least for myself, I'm ready to get back out and enjoy live music. And everyone, the vaccination rate is pretty high. So, people are getting vaccinated. People are feeling safe about going out and enjoying live music or just getting together in groups, going to bars. So the spring has been, heading into summer, it's been pretty fun, I'd say. It's good to see people have some life again.
Yeah, I think the biggest way my life has changed since the pandemic to now is just, I think, well, everything. It's not one big thing. It's lots of little things, like the way people drink and the way people go to shows. In Nashville specifically, there's like, I think you guys are saying there's like, you can have shows from 15 to like 100 people right now. There's shows here where it's thousands and thousands of people. It's chaos.
It's thousands more.
Yeah.
So
it's a lot more chaotic, it feels like now, which is kind of fun and scary.
It's a weird.
It's hard having conversations with some family members that don't think it's real. You're like, what?
Yeah. You see it in LA, you see it in New York, Boston. I mean, me and Derek are from the Boston area, and Boston like really shut down. It's a more liberal city, so people are getting vaccinated, but there's plenty of there's still a faction of, conservatives who just don't, bother with it either. So we came together.
We all met at a university. We went to a music university in town. And then we all started working together as like bartenders.
Yeah.
And we were all in different bands that played together sometimes. And then we sort of fell out of those bands and like just naturally working together, hanging out with each other, like, hey, you guys want to start playing music together. It's always been really fun and easy to write music as this group. So we've just done it. And the band sort of just naturally formed from us hanging out and playing music. So it was a really easy thing to do. There was no like auditions or anything. We were just friends jamming,
Yeah, I think all the bands kind of dissolved at the same time. It was like a stars aligning kind of thing, So
stars aligned.
It was beautiful. I would say the final lineup that we've had for about 2 years now, maybe less, maybe a little less, but or yeah, I guess 2 years.
With
now.
Us and Nikki, the viola player, it's been 2 years. And then our bass player joined us just a month or so ago.
Yeah.
So the bass player, she's awesome, but she's really new. She's really cool. Yeah. Erica.
I think it's cool. Yeah, there's not a lot. There's a lot of just all male bands, and I definitely listen to a lot of female rock bands as well. And it's just cool to be in one, as myself, I guess. Just write or plan what we're gonna do. Like how do we progress during a pandemic? So this year definitely brought us closer together, but we've been really great buddies from the start. So it's just grown since then. We had so many stupid names that we were using.
No, his mom is a flight attendant.
My mom's a flight attendant, so I think we just were talking about that one day. And
Lisa! Yeah.
Shout out to Lisa. But she is a flight attendant, and I think someone just mentioned it, and I was like, oh, that's a cool name. So that's how it works. But what better person to lead you into a wonderful time in the sky and get you high than a flight attendant? They're like servants of a party in the air,
Yeah.
We're here to bring you and get you high.
And sometimes we'll write songs and finish the song and be like, oh my God, I hate that song. And then we'll scrap it and then we'll write other songs. So it's evolved, and I think we've all gotten better at writing together.
Mm-hmm.
And it's really easy to write songs together. I've gotten better at playing synthesizers and like adding in, like we have a little bit more synth sounds that are in the backgrounds now and sort of go in addition to the bass. And I think you're going to notice with our new bass player in the next couple songs, a real evolvement in sort of those grooves. It's going to be a lot more like groove heavy and like a little less anthematic rock and a little more like danceable groove rock. That's still indie in a way.
Yeah. Yeah, I think when we first started, maybe, I don't know what you'd say it is, but adding Nikki definitely changed some things up, because having a viola player, that's such a different instrument to dance around.
Mm-hmm.
And me, at least for me being the only guitarist, there's still some low end to fill out. So I use a baritone a lot, and it's just nice to have like a low sounding viola that also has this like just like a sweetness to it that can act as a rhythm guitar, or it can act as the lead guitar, so it's fun to play around with who's taking over low end, who's taking over the high end.
The pandemic was really a blessing for that. It was, I think, the first time in a lot of our lives where all we did was write music for the entire time, because we couldn't go to our jobs, we couldn't hang out with friends or family. So all we did was stay in our houses and write music. It was really nice to have like a little midlife retirement where all we did was play music.
Yeah.
And I definitely miss it a little.
Right now, it's kind of like combing through what we basically we have like a ton of voice memos, and we have a ton of small recording demos. So it's kind of just going back, picking out which ones we really vibed with and think are standouts that we're gonna actually bring to the studio and do a real version of. So that's fun in itself, going back to here, like, oh, that's the kind of headspace we were in back in December.
Yeah, like Carolyn said, it's like you don't really know what the song is like until you play it live, because you could make a song sound really cool in the recording, but can we translate that in front of a crowd? So looking forward to seeing how that all works out. I feel like having that moment, like, hey, if we did this full time, that would be like a pretty cool life. Like that definitely gives us, at least me, inspiration to like, hey, time to pick up the pace. Let's do something,
Yeah.
Let's make that happen.
Yeah.
Especially going back into a job now, you're kind of like, oh, wow.
Yeah, as far as new songs, I don't know, inspiration wise, the summer is a huge inspiration for me, at least. I think like everyone over the winter harbors these, like, you kind of are tucked in all winter, but there's always such a positive release in spring and heading into summer. And it's just anywhere you look, you can almost find some sort of story or song. And just looking at people hanging out at a bar, just laughing it up. And it's cool to just take moments of those. Like I had one friend who was a songwriter, and he would never go out. And I was like, dude, you have to go out, because you have to see things happen. Any direction you turn your head at a bar, you could write a story for two characters sitting having a beer, or just laughing. And I think those are the important moments that you have to take in as your surroundings to then, write a story about it.
Nashville is a very chaotic city, and so it's easy to just step outside of your house and find inspiration.
I want to compete. I want to get out there with the crowds, and like when we're not playing shows and people are not like having a great time doing shows, I get mad because I want to be doing that. It's like
you're always challenged by the environment we're in to be a better musician. We can play a show tomorrow if we want to. It's just doing it right.
I saw Raylan not too long ago.
Like you said, the inspiration is everywhere. I have, during the pandemic, my neighbors did a concert series from their porch every day. And I had another neighbor that's a DJ that was DJing from their porch. And so there's just live music everywhere, no matter what. So I think that's a huge driving force to get us off our butts and playing shows.
Yeah. And there's so many good bands here. Like every band in Nashville has like 10 to 15,000 followers or listeners on Spotify. And it's just like a crazy thing to see in a city like that. Everyone has like a little bit of fame, and then a few of them break through to the next level. And so it's like you want to get to the new tier, and I just want us to keep developing and progressing until we crash to the next tier. By the end of this year, I think if we're working towards an album, it'd be nice to have a good batch of songs that we're like picking from to be on that album to move forward with the recording process. Other than that, I think it's just getting back to live shows would be huge for us. We're going to play a few around Nashville, and then hopefully going into the fall, we can start, maybe breaking out to another city here and there to do some. And ultimately, like the dream is to get over to Europe and do a real proper tour. So
yeah, like get our live shows down this year, beginning of next year, release an album next year, tour on that album next year, and then while touring on that album, book a show for Europe at the end of 2022, beginning 2023. Yeah. So it's definitely hone in our live shows now, figure out what's good on the album, get the album, set up a European tour once Europe is more open and we've gotten a good touring agent through playing here. So somebody that can help us book shows out there. Bye.